Hey guys, this is Andy over at Falco K9 TV. So glad to see you. We want to talk about getting your dog to come back when you call him. You know, I just got an email or a text message, I think, from one of our handlers who was having an issue with his dog not coming back to him and sometimes even avoiding him. You know, one of the things that happens that you have to keep in mind is that you're not always the happiest person to come back to. And it may not be so in your mind, but if your body language changes just the slightest bit or your voice tone changes the slightest bit, your dog will know that you're unhappy with them. And the problem with the recall is oftentimes when the dog finally does come back to somebody and they've called them more than once, you are not the happiest person to come back to. And again, you may think that you're not changing your body language or your voice with unhappiness, but your dog certainly knows when you're not happy. And so make sure that you really concentrate on, come on, buddy, come here, buddy. And it's like the third time you've called him and it's, come here, buddy. And when he comes back to you, you praise him up and give him a nice pat on the head and praise him first before you grab that collar, if you can. One of the best ways to do that is to always have a line on him of some sort. A 6-footer, a long line, a 15-footer, a 10-footer, whatever it is, and he comes back to you and he comes in close enough, you just stand on it without jumping on it, and you stand on it. What a good boy. You go to pet him. If he goes away, now that you're standing on it, he'll hit the end of the line and then he'll come back to you and praise him first for coming back to you. What a good dog. And then maybe just even let him go back out again. All right, don't always make him do something immediately following a recall, coming back to a heel and sit, laying down or something like that. Comes back to you, gets lots of praise, and then he's off and running doing his whole thing again. Next time you want to call him, you call him back to you, pull on that long line and get him back to you and praise him up or even give him a treat or throw him a toy. All right, so you want to make sure that when you do this recalling and you're training the behavior to make it solid, that in the beginning it is one of the best things in the world to come back to you. It's got to be stronger than whatever it is he's interested in. Like I say in our pet dog training class, you have to be just more attractive than pee on a tree. And you want to make sure that that's what you tell the dog when he comes back to you. All right? If you have a dog that's avoiding you, there's something in that dog's mind that's telling him that when you come close or he comes close to you, it's not always pleasant. He may have to give up something, he may get corrected, or he may have to go into some other behavior. So even when you're not recalling, and say for instance your dog's at a door fine, barking, bark, 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 he's telling you the decoy's back there, that you first go up there and what a good boy, and you praise him for barking at the door and then maybe back off. He gets to stay at that door, tell the decoy to open the door, the dog goes in, bam, the dog gets to bite on the equipment and everybody's happy. Or maybe have your decoy have a toy in his hand. And so when the door fine is going on, bark, 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 you're saying, what a good boy, you kind of come close to him, you don't have to go all the way towards him, go to where he feels comfortable, maybe 5 feet away, and say, now, decoy throws a toy out and the dog gets to play with a toy. And what you want to begin to do is show the dog that you coming close may actually get him the reward. The reward being a toy or the door flying open with the decoy wearing his equipment and the dog gets to get in there and bite the equipment. And you continue this. You know, some of you are unhappy about how long some of these changes or some of these behavior issues will take to train, but always remember that we've always talked about this from the beginning. It takes 4 to 6 weeks of consistent training for a behavior to change. If you are inconsistent, then you're looking at about 8 weeks to 10 weeks until the dog has enough repetitions of success to where he will become more reliable on whatever it is you're trying to teach. So if you're having long-term issues that you just can't seem to get over, it's because you're not being consistent. Something is not happening on a regular enough basis for the dog to understand that this is what it is that gets him the praise, your respect, the reward. And those are the things you're going to have to look at either through video or trainer watching you on a regular basis, or just actually opening your eyes and making sure you understand what it is you're doing. Maybe you're just not doing it right. You know, there's something about saying that practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect. That's an old line from my good friend Sergeant Wright over at Niagara Regional Police. He hammered that home on a lot of training circumstances that he and I were training on. Perfect practice makes perfect. If you practice crappy, you're going to be crappy. If you practice perfect, you're going to be perfect. All right? So take those back with you. Hopefully that will help, and we'll see you next time on Falco K9 TV. Take care. Bye.